Hi guys, my name's Amber and this is Ava, and I thought I'd kick off this YouTube channel with a video a little bit about myself and how I've gotten where I am today, because I've gotten a load of questions on Facebook and Instagram and in our podcast community. So I thought I'd just start here, share a bit about myself, answer common questions I've been getting, and hopefully my journey will help inspire and motivate you all. So a really high overview about myself. When I was growing up, I was very hyperactive. So my parents put myself in a lot of sports. And I always talked to strangers. I was a super happy kid, climbing trees, running around, constantly outside. I was definitely a tomboy. They say I've stepped up a bit. Now I'm a boy's girl. Eventually I'll get to a lady, hopefully before Ava recognizes it. And I just always dreamt of more growing up. Always. I love Disney, I love fairy tales and rainbows and happy endings. And some say I'm over positive, but I really don't care. I like all that stuff. And I want to show that to Ava too. I lived in a male-dominant household, okay? I was told not to cry growing up. I learned to bury my emotions. And the main sports I played were soccer and ringette. I played them competitively for most of my life, to be honest. I was in and out of physio and rehab and Chiro since I was 10 from sporting injuries. And in my final year of high school and into my first year of university, I actually lost 5 friends into 1 year, and one nearly passed away, which I'm so grateful he's still alive today. But that really messed me up for that year. That really hit me hard, and I went very quiet for quite some time. And I began to actually say I love you, even when I was leaving the house. My parents would be in a fight, and I'd slam the door, but I'd be like, I love you, and slam the door. No matter what, I'd always say that because you just don't know how a conversation will end. So I started to learn how to say I love you. Unfortunately, I had to learn by losing a lot of people though. But now we're still really grateful because we have so many angels watching us, which we're so blessed. I've always believed things happen for a reason or reasons, even if in the worst case scenario. So even in all those scenarios, I've always just looked for the gift. Even if it takes time to find it, I really do believe there's always a gift in everything. I battled with the belief I was not good enough, so that led to me with overtraining and working out about 2-3 times a day. So I was obsessed. By 21, I was playing soccer for our university, and I ended up getting brain damage. I got 3 concussions in 2.5 weeks that actually shook me up for 2.5 years, and it was pretty bad. I wasn't able to read for 9 months. I had to teach myself how to read again. I didn't have my short-term memory. I actually lost my long-term memory, which really affected my parents because I couldn't remember, and I still don't remember much of my childhood. That's really the high level of what I do remember, and I'm not focused on, I need to remember that. I've just let it go, accepted it. And if things come in, because they have come in as flashbacks, that's great, but I'm not hung up on it. Lights will give me seizures. That's why I even have glasses today, is because of the concussions. At the time, I literally had a boyfriend then. He's my ex now, but you know the movie 50 First Dates with Drew Barrymore? That was our first year of the relationship. It was pretty bad. He actually did see me at my worst. And I learned many, many lessons during that time. And one of the main ones was attitude is a choice. I also began to learn self-love throughout that whole psychological and physiological and physical changes of what happened. But when I truly learned to self-love was actually when I booked a one-way ticket to Australia at 24. So I booked a one-way ticket, and I remember that day actually I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I just booked a one-way ticket to Australia. And he was like, oh yeah, how long are you going for? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, who are you going with? I was like, just me. Do you know anyone there? I was like, no. And do you have work lined up? No. Where are you going to stay? I booked a backpackers for the first 3 nights, and then I'll just wing it from there. And it was silent on the phone. I must have given him a heart attack. But honestly, 8 years later, I've been doing just that. I've been winging my life, and I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. It was the best thing ever. So in a quick nutshell with that, I traveled for 3.5 years on my own, and that's where I truly learned self-love, my own self-worth. And where I traveled around is I lived and worked in Australia and New Zealand. I went through Southeast Asia, Nepal. I trekked through the Himalayan mountain ranges. I lived in the UK and obviously explored Europe. And out of all those travels, I really just wanted to get back to Australia. Australia is a beautiful country, and that's where we are back now. So we've been back now for 4 years. My partner Mick and I We have a newborn Ava who's actually 7 weeks. She was 7 weeks yesterday, and we're brand new to parenthood. And so what I figure is I'll be sharing our journey of imperfect parenthood on here on YouTube and how I'm integrating into business and with mom life, and still making time for myself, still making time for us as a couple, and living out our dreams. So that's my life in a very high level that has brought me to where I am today. And I do believe our past doesn't make our future. I believe our present creates our destiny, which is our ultimate future. So one question I constantly ask myself is, what am I doing today to better my future self for tomorrow? Which, let's go into some of the questions that I've been given. So one of them here is, what are some of your beliefs that keep you so positive? Because obviously it can get annoying as well, I'm sure, for some people. Well, to be honest, I've already mentioned I believe things happen for a reason, and there's always a gift. So that's a huge one, because that belief always makes me look for the positive. So despite the unfortunate life happenings, which I'm sure everyone has gone through, I'm always looking for the bright side. Even if it's something very, very small, I just focus on that. Another big thing with the positive side is the focus. I focus my energy on what I can control, because most things in life we can't. So I do my best to be kind to myself and focus on what I can control. The big other thing is the attitude is a choice. So it's all about state management. So we get to choose how we look at things and how we hold ourselves and how we react. That's a big thing. And I really do believe if you're not growing, you're dying. So, I'm a big personal development person. I'm constantly making time to improve myself and become the best version of myself so that I can share that onto Ava as well. And then probably another big belief that I have is you have excuses or you have results, but you can't have both. So ownership is massive. So hopefully that answers that question. The next question I get asked a lot is, how did Mick and I meet? Now, this is a bit of a long story, but I'm going to give you the quickest version possible, I promise, but I do love it. So please remember, I do love Disney and fairy tales and happy endings, so I do love our love story. So really quick, short version. We met actually 8 years ago when I was backpacking. So back in October, it was like within my first 6 to 8 weeks of backpacking. And remember, I was with my ex at that time, so nothing ever happened. But when I actually met Mick, it was in the Whitsundays. I don't know if you guys know that in Australia, but if you don't know it, check it out. It is beautiful. And if you do know it, of course, get there. It's stunning. You live in a postcard for however long you're there. So we did a 2-night, 3-day boat tour around the Whitsundays, and I think it's 72 different islands all around. It was amazing, snorkeling with sea turtles, and the waters are just remarkable. And again, nothing happened. It was just a great group of people on the boat. We all hit it off. We all switched details, and Mick and I would just keep in touch on Facebook. So he was going north with his friend and I was going south. So literally we kept in touch, and it would just be here and there. Mick always worked, so he was out in the bush, so sometimes he wouldn't have service, and so sometimes he'd randomly call me. And sometimes it would just be Facebook messages out of the blue, but that's just how it was. And that was honestly for 3.5 years. So I was now fast forward to living in London in June 2013, and Mick randomly called me, which he would do. So I never thought anything of it. And he actually had stayed in Australia the whole time. And I was in London, like I said, and he was actually coming back to Ireland for a wedding in that following May, in May 2014. And he actually asked me if I wanted to go with him. And I was like, yes, of course. I'd love to go. And Ireland was still on my list. And at that time, actually the day before Mick called, I actually was at the park and I laid out the map of Europe and I jotted down all the countries I wanted to go to because I really wanted to leave London. To be honest, I really was starting to not like it. And I made a plan to work for 8 months and then go backpacking for 2 to 3 of Europe and then leave and be done. And I was planning on backpacking in May. So when Mick asked me if I wanted to go to the wedding, I was like, yes, of course, please. And I asked him how long he was staying home for, and he said about a month. So I said, well, great. Do you want to go backpacking with me? And he said, yes. And I said, okay, great. So we started talking a bit more often about what we want to do, where we want to go. Eventually, we were talking every day. And then one of the conversations, Mick just said to me, I'm going to put all the cards on the table. I want to be with you. And he just gave me this amazing speech. And I was like, you're fucked. Like, I'm like, that's crazy. How? Like, I was in complete shock. That was my reaction. It was hilarious. But no, he was adamant. And so then I was already falling in love with him then too, because, you know, just how things happen with conversations and so forth. We were talking every day, and he's amazing. Bless you. And so then pretty much by August, I actually said to him, I was like, I don't want to wait till May. Do you want to meet halfway? And so we ended up meeting in Dubai for Christmas and New Year's, and we spent 2 weeks together, and that confirmed it all, and it was amazing. And he ended up flying back to Australia, and I flew back to London. And within a week, it was decided that Mick was going to move to London to be with me. So 6 weeks later, he flew over to London, and well, first he flew to Ireland, because obviously our parents had no idea what the heck and who are these people on my side and on his. So he flew to Ireland to obviously see his family, because he hadn't seen them in so long, explain who I am. And then I flew over there a couple days later, and then we spent a couple days with his family, and then flew back and literally moved in together. So I got us a house in London, and he sold everything in Australia to come over, and then we've been together ever since. And yeah, honestly, I remember my mom, like, I was so shocked, honestly. You just wonder what your family, your friends think of you when they ask you these questions. But I will say it, because I have, you know, I'm going to be open and honest on this channel anyways. But I remember my mom and other people probably thought that I just wanted to date Mick for a visa. And Mick and I would joke about it all the time. But there's no friggin' chance. Like, honestly, I don't know how people do that, because it's just, it's so tough. Oh, I didn't even notice you puked up. I'm so sorry, sweetie. Oh, I'm sorry, love. You guys probably saw that in Bad Parenting 101. But it's all right. She's okay. And so, yeah, so my mom asked me, am I doing this for a visa? And I was like, are you friggin' kidding me? Like, how could you even ask me that? A, I could never do that. But the one line that made her realize it was true, I was like, Mom, I'm on a freaking magic carpet ride. And I don't know if you guys don't know Disney, but I love Aladdin. I always thought I was Jasmine. I would dream of her. And, you know, who doesn't like magic carpet rides? And so as soon as I made that reference, then she just switched and was like, oh my God, this is for real. Like, Amber's actually in love, and this is it. So, yeah. And honestly, it's been a fairy tale ever since. You know, he's my best friend. I absolutely love him. And, you know, he's my soulmate, partner in crime. He's everything. He's awesome. He's a perfect gentleman, the only gentleman I've ever been with. He is honestly the man of my dreams, and I'm so grateful to be his fiance, and I wouldn't be living life any other way. So that's Mick and I. Yeah, and that's Ava's dad, and he's a super dad too. Cool. So next question. I'll just do 3 more, and I promise the answers will be shorter. So the next one is, for a new mom who had an unexpected pregnancy, you seem to naturally fit into the role so well. How have you done this? So yes, Ava was an unexpected pregnancy, but again, going back, and I won't lie, like, we were both in shock. Like, we had no idea. I started putting on weight, and I was like, how is this happening? I'm working out, I'm eating well, like, how am I gaining weight? So anyways, I ended up being pregnant. After the whole shock went over, of course, Mick and I, there was no way we wouldn't be having this gem. You know, there's always a blessing in disguise, and she definitely is. I would say a lot to do of why things just came naturally is just to do with mindset. I would say also ownership, you know, just taking responsibility, accepting, you know, moving forward, self-belief in myself, and just knowing what can be done, and then embracing change. I think those are the big elements of how we've adapted so well. You know, during the whole pregnancy process too, I really looked after myself. That was probably a big thing too. You know, I'm a firm believer that we have to give ourselves first so that we can give our ultimate best to others. Excuse me, especially our loved ones. And with a newborn on the way, I really wanted to ensure I was on the top of my own game. So, you know, that was by nutrition, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically. I really wanted to do everything I can for myself, because I knew obviously everything that I was providing was giving to her as well. So I wanted to give her the best too. And I actually didn't know if it was a girl or boy. We left it as a surprise, so found out after. So I did keep myself active throughout the whole pregnancy. I had many self-reflection chats with myself, you know, for example, with weight gain. So I was never hung up on how much I weighed. It was just how I felt with the weight. So I don't really care about the weight on the scale, but it was just all about a feeling for me. And I honestly had to sit back and talk to myself and be like, listen, Amber, you know what? You're going to put on weight, and it's healthy weight. You know, you're building a child, right? We're growing one inside us. So I had to be really kind to myself and let that natural process take the course. And then I would say the biggest foundation as well is I did a lot of internal work. So, and that internal work was all on like letting go and surrendering. I didn't know. So before I found out I was pregnant, I actually hurt my back in June, and hey, sweetie. And I was recommended to this magical chiropractor. He's amazing, Steve Katz. I owe so much to him, and an osteopath, Jonathan, in the Gold Coast. So if you guys are there, definitely check him out. And pretty much they were telling me that I needed to lose control, and I didn't realize I was controlling. When I came home, I remember I said that to Mick. I was like, yeah, Mick, like Steve says I have to lose control. I'm controlling. And I was like, I don't think I am. And Mick was like, jaw dropped. He's like, are you kidding me? Of course you are. And I was like, what? I had no idea. So that was a complete shock for me too. And obviously just, swallowing my pride and moving forward and accepting it, right? So doing a lot of breath work and internal stuff emotionally and spiritually really, really helped, obviously throughout the whole pregnancy, but then also getting me ready for the 4th trimester, which is now. I'm so much better. And so I would say that's a huge, oh my gosh, what word am I thinking of? That's probably why I've adapted so well naturally into pregnancy, into parenthood, is probably because I've done so much work on letting go and surrendering while she was in the womb. All right. How are you hosting a podcast, running a business, being a new mom, and making time for yourself? With a team, very simple. I wouldn't be or want to do this all on my own. And I feel like even if you are a single mom or a single dad listening to this, like, you're never always alone. There's always help somewhere. It might just be a neighbor. It could be, a match nurse. It could be a midwife. It could, there's just people around. We just have to look for it. And sometimes it's asking for help, and that could be our hardest thing. But I really do feel like we're never alone. I think there's a big difference between being alone and lonely. But that's a different topic. The biggest also thing for myself is knowing my priorities, and setting them. So I really do believe time is our greatest resource, and many people probably think it's money or health. But if you think about it, we look after our health so that we live here longer, or we make more money so that we can have time to do what we want. So I really do think time is our greatest resource. And as a newborn or a new mom with a newborn, time is very limited. Like I thought I was very focused already before she was around, but there's no chance. Like now it's like, okay, things are getting done between nap time and feed time. And now, honestly, she's awake like 2-3 hours beforehand. And now I get to play with her. How exciting is that? But it's also, when I do have that time is so focused and exactly on that activity, what I'm doing. So literally I got to squeeze in, a client call while she was having a quick little power nap, but not really sleeping. And, I got to have a government call to sort out her citizenship while she was feeding. And, it's also picking and choosing, knowing that I'm not always doing something without paying attention to her. So I always make time for us as well. So I booked her into a lot of activities, which we do have to go very shortly for, because we get a workout together very soon. We have a postnatal workout class together, baby mom. So that's a big thing. And then about the question about how do I look after myself, is I'll wake up probably every day at 4 a.m. just to get a shower in and to do my workout. So, and sometimes it doesn't work that way. It's day by day. So everything is day by day. I'm honestly, the motto is day by day and nap and feed time at a time. So really that's how I structure my days. And if I get nothing done, then I get nothing done. But the big thing is to have a shower and to do my workout. And if I have to wake up at 4 a.m. to get that, I'll do that. So, and it's just, communicating that with your partner if you have one, so Mick, at least I wake him up so he can just like hear Ava if she's, chatting or wants some attention like now. Yeah, she gets antsy, which I love because she just wants to get out of the house, which I totally get. And I think a big thing, just as a side note, is I feel like many moms lose themselves when they become a parent. And even when they find out that they're pregnant, it's like their dreams stop. And that was the big thing for myself, where I was like, no, why don't we integrate things? Which is why I've created the podcast, the Parenting Biz podcast, because it's all about integration. Why don't you include them? And you don't have to give up on your dreams. You may have to do it a different way, 100%, yeah, but it can still be done. And I really do believe we can do it all. It just might have to be done a very creative and patient and a different versatile way than how it was originally thought in your mind. But it can be done. So I hope that answered it. And I think the big reason why it drives me as well is because kids do what they see us do and not what we tell them to do. So I really want to show her by living by example of whom I would love her to become, you know. But she's still going to be her own individual self, which is amazing. But I want her to see that she doesn't have to just stop her dreams because she becomes a parent. Okay, almost there. How do you know what exercises to do and what credentials do you have? Yeah, very valid question. So I grew up playing sports. Again, I was such a tomboy. I absolutely love fitness. I had so much energy. It was a great way for me to release it. And because I got bored quite easily, I would constantly search for new ways to make a workout fun, dynamic, and adapt with what was going on with my life, you know, with traveling or sports or competitions or whatever I was going through. And honestly, I would always make time for it just mentally. It would mentally make me feel good and that I could take on the world, really. So I needed it for that. It wasn't for, you know, an image thing or anything like that. It was really a stress relief for me. So for credentials and experience, so again, I've been in and out of physio through lots of sporting injuries. And throughout all of that, I'd always ask questions like, what am I doing, you know, to the physiotherapist? Like, why am I doing this exercise? Or what muscles am I working? And because I always wanted to improve my game, I would always look for my weaknesses, strengthen those up, and make them better. So I was always constantly improving. I also worked with one of the top Canadian physiotherapists and kinesiologists. I was just an assistant to start off with. I was doing ultrasounds for like 5 or 6 different physiotherapists at his clinic. And within a month, I was super bored. And I just told him, I was like, listen, I'm so bored. Like, can I do something else or I'm going to have to leave? Like, I wouldn't be able to just keep doing people's ultrasounds or changing up their TENS machines or whatever. And so he actually let me... Pretty much he took me underneath his wing, and eventually I was actually creating even programs for his own clients. Of course, he would still look over them, but he would actually, you know, explain more deeper how is this working for carpal tunnel? What exercises can we do? This person has a knee injury. How can we fix it? And, you know, we'd bounce ideas off together, and he would let me actually work one-on-one with his clients, obviously still overlooking. Yeah, but yeah, he was amazing. So that's a huge part for the rehab, is obviously my own personal experience and then working with him really closely. I also am a certified personal trainer. I'm a certified fitness instructor, a pre and postnatal certified aquafit instructor. I also have my functional movement screening certification. Now all those certifications though, I got them all before I went traveling, so they're probably not even valid anymore. But yeah, whoa, that's such a good voice you got. Yeah. So I still have them all, but they were from Canada. And because I didn't know which country I was going to live in, it was hard for me to know where I was going to top up my certification. And yeah, for personal training, I did all that for clients for 2 years. I've done it in the gym. I actually got my certification when I had my concussion. So that summer, and it was pretty amazing because I had no short-term memory. I had to keep doing flashcards and testing myself and play memory, the card game with my mom. Like I made all these like little cue cards and stuff. Yeah, and it was brilliant. So, you know, still get certified even with brain damage. It's, you know, it's pretty awesome. Whoa. Hey, sweetie. Almost there, I promise. So yeah, so I've done quite a bit of also different workouts. So boot camps, kettlebells, CrossFit, battle ropes, TRX, stability balls, Pilates, reformers, yoga, but I'm definitely not a yogi. I just love stretching. I love active and passive stretching. I love myofascial tissue release, so foam rollers, bender balls, you know, plyometric workouts, outdoor playground workouts. I've done Tough Mudder, and actually created a 16-week training program for myself and my brother because we did that together. And we even did like a 5K mini obstacle course race together as our 8-week halfway checklist to see how we were doing for our 6-week program. I do Bozu ball workouts, medicine ball, rebounders. I did boxing, martial arts, kinesthetics. I think that, resistant bands, all that stuff. And I still keep a variety on it today. I really do. Okay, so final question. We'll wrap this up. And honestly, guys, if there's anything else that isn't clear or you want to ask, please don't hesitate. Comment below, ask anytime. I'd love to keep adding value and share enjoyable content for you. So please just ask if there's anything. This little high note is this channel will be a huge focus on integrating business, life, and parenthood. So you'll see workouts, so baby mom fitness, of stuff we do together, self-care hacks, parenting tips, 4th trimester recovery considerations, mindset, business insights, and so much more. So that's my plan for the channel. Okay, cool. Last question. You and Mick have no family here supporting you guys in Australia. How are you managing being new parents? Yes, that's a big question. A lot of people ask us. So I'm originally from Canada and Mick is originally from Ireland. So yes, our families are both in their countries. We're honestly managing greatly. We are a massive team. We have open communication. So obviously if I need him here, I openly ask him to be here and he can be. We're living in Canberra. We just recently moved here about 5 months ago and we have no friends here either. So that adds to it. And a lot of people were concerned for us, which we appreciate. However, we're really good. So Mick and I both believe we will create a home wherever we are. And family members don't have to be blood related. So we always build a supportive group wherever we are. And even if it's currently minimal, which it is, because we don't really know anyone here still, we don't feel like we need it. And I think it's just giving ourselves that reassurance of knowing that, we want to be able to adjust and adapt to this new phase ourselves and soak it up, every day with this gem. And that's exactly what we're doing. So a big motto that I keep saying to myself is that this is only a phase. So it's not going to last forever. And the belief that really helped me adapt to waking up at 4 a.m. to get a shower and workout in is exactly that. That, if I have to wake up at 4 in the morning for now just to get a shower, that's what I'll do. It's only a phase. And if that's going to keep me sane, well, then that's what I'm going to do. And that's all right. And for those who, we also hear about the concern for lack of sleep. From the get-go, to be honest, Mick and I already had it in our minds before she was even here that, again, it's only a phase. So if we're not getting sleep for a little bit, then that's okay. It's just not going to be forever. So we'll just take it day by day. And you know what? If the house is filthy or the dishes aren't done or the clothes are stacking up, well, so be it. If I have to sleep when she's sleeping, then I'll do that. And honestly, that's what I do. Like, I take literally each feed or nap one at a time. And if I'm tired, maybe the one nap time I'll sleep with her. The other time, maybe I'll do dishes or, I'll just take it as it comes. I know you're so antsy, so we gotta go. And the other big thing is life will never be the same. I'll never get this time again with Ava. And if we have another child, it will never be the same because then I'll have Ava plus the other child. So, I'm not going to get caught up in the future and get so wrapped up about it. I'm just going to take it day by day, enjoy every moment, soak it up. And, time flies so quickly. She's already 7 weeks. It's pretty wild how fast she's grown already. So I'm just going to take this step back, be more present, and be more present with her and Mick. We're just going to soak that up. So hopefully, guys, that's enough about me, and I guess at this time as well. If you want to follow on our journey, press subscribe below because we'll be sharing all the imperfectness, the pretty, the not so pretty, and what we do to make it work around here, So yeah, if you like it, guys, share it. I'd love for this to help other people out there too. So if anyone else can benefit from it, please share. And I look forward to getting to know all you guys too. Thanks for watching. Sending all our love to you guys. And have an amazing morning, day, or evening, wherever you are. And we'll chat soon. Bye. Bye, Ava. See ya.